Hey, what's up guys? How are you guys doing today? I got a haircut. You might have noticed my hair's a bit shorter than it normally is. I think it looks okay, honestly, but gives me very Mob Psycho vibes, you know? Mob from Mob Psycho. But that's not a bad thing, I guess, because Mob looks cool. That's what I tell myself to feel better. Anyway, today's lesson, what I have planned to teach you guys is the methods which I use to learn pieces quicker than how you normally would. I know in my earlier days of learning piano, there were times where I'd struggle to get through a piece, and I realized that it wasn't actually anything technical that I was having issues with. It was more so how I was practicing, which is impeding me on getting better progress. Even in parts of your piece which are quite technically demanding, there's methods which you can apply which will help you progress through that faster than the way you're doing right now. I say the most important thing to get your practice to be moving much more efficiently is to work systematically, step by step. And today, I want to show you guys step by step what I've been doing to get my practice much more efficient, and yeah, what works for me, what works for my students too. When you first open a piece of music, you want to be quite analytical of what you're reading. Just like when you are skim reading through an article online about how to do something, skim read it. Have a general idea of what is going on, what to expect out of your piece. Things to look for are any parts which are quite technically demanding, any patterns you see repeating. Those are just some general things to look out for. As you get better, your skim reading, you'll start noticing different things which will help you gauge, first of all, how difficult the piece is, so how much time you reckon you need to spend on the piece, and how to approach this piece. Different pieces require different kind of approaches, and skim reading will allow you just to get an idea of what to do. To get into specifics, I'll show you a Bergmuller piece. On the more simpler side, I'd say this would be in Australian terms. It'll be in a grade 1 to 2. So you got this piece here, Innocence, right? Right here. What I look at first when I see the piece, look for your, this side, you got your time signature, key signature, and your clefs. Make sure that these are right. They dictate a large way that you're going to be playing the piece. Time signature tells you how to count. Clefs, which notes you're going to be reading, how you're going to be reading it. And finally, key signature, that does trip you up a lot, especially with lots of sharps and lots of flats in the piece. Also, as I'm skim reading, I'm looking to see how I'm going to break up my practice. I practice in sections. That is the best way to practice, undoubtedly. As you practice through sections, you're going to look at your phrases. So where it's just natural for the melody to start off and where to end. So phrases are generally from just line to line. Maybe it can last 2 lines, maybe 3 lines. Work through your phrases in little chunks. For more difficult parts of your piece, practice in even smaller sections. So it can be in bars or just 1 line. So now that you've identified sections on how you're going to practice, let's actually get into the practicing part of it. When you first go through a piece, practice hands separately and slowly. So I go right hand first by itself to get an idea of how the melody goes. When you first run through it, get all the notes right first. After that, then start applying in your timing. After timing, your smaller articulations, for example your staccatos, tenutos, any of your slurring, those things. Once you do that, apply the same thing to your left hand, and this is still at a slow speed. Once that's done, then start putting your hands together. You want to practice hands separately to get a good independence of each hand. So each hand just knows exactly what they're doing. You don't have to think too much about it. Because once you put your hands together, if you're concentrating on too many things at once, it's a very big overload on your brain. And it's hard to focus on working on what you actually want to work on. There's no need to play hands together to work on just your left hand. If your left hand notes are messing up, then just work on your left hand by itself. No need to put hands together. After that, start doing some hands together practice, and we're still working very slowly. I go as slowly as your very starting speed, and then work your way up as you get more comfortable with the speed. After that, we'll go down to the next section. So think of it more like we're working in blocks. So first block is done, we've got hands together done pretty well. a rating of around 6 out of 10 of how good you reckon it is, if 10 is being perfect. After that's done, go to your next block, work through your next section, and do that same thing throughout the rest of the piece until it's done. Once you've gotten through the entire piece, then you got your blocks, you want to start gluing your blocks together. So because you've worked in sections, when you're moving from one section to your next, that transition period, that is going to be a bit shaky, so you're going to start working on your transitions. Once all your sections are glued together, then you're going to start picking up the speed a bit, going up in increments. Let's say the final speed is at 130 beats a minute, and right now you're playing at 170 beats a minute. You're going to climb up slowly, you're not going to jump straight to 130, where it'll just be too crazy for you. You start employing bad habits to get to those notes. So at this point, you've pretty much gone through your whole piece at probably like a 6 out of 10 of how good it is throughout. Now we're just going to start doing spot fixes. There'll be sections in your piece which are more difficult. Start working on those individually. There could be 2 bars that you're struggling with. Just work on those 2 bars and just almost hop around that piece, polishing it up, making it nice and clean. The final step to finishing off your piece is recording it. Recording is really important because you're going to pick up things that you don't hear when you're playing. When you play, for myself too, there's so many things that you got to be aware of. Notes, timing, all of that. It's really hard to listen to every sound you're making. When you record it, you can sit back and listen to exactly how you're sounding from an audio perspective, which is really, really good. You can pinpoint mistakes that you wouldn't normally pick up as you're playing by yourself. That's it. That's my step-to-step guide on how to get through your pieces and learning it quicker than you already are. I hope you guys found my tips useful, and when you are applying it to your own practice, apply it slowly. Don't try and push yourself too much. It'll be a very big overload on your brain. With these tips, hopefully you can get through your pieces faster, you're enjoying it more, and you also see good progress with your piano playing. I've been quite enjoying making these piano videos actually, so if you guys have been enjoying it, let me know too. Any questions you want me to answer, put it down in the comment sections below, or any topics you want me to start covering too. I reckon I'll start doing this weekly and give you guys all the things that I've learned throughout my piano career. If you like the video, please comment and like the video. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace out. See you later.